Okay, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to animate a website using motion, which was formerly known as framer motion. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm gonna add a few animations to this website. Okay, and we're gonna be using framer motion. So to do that, first you need to install motion. To do that, just type in the command in your terminal npm I motion, then press enter. I have already installed this, so I'm not going to do that again, but just type in this command and press enter. Then here you need to import in asterisk as motion from, and then motion / react client. Okay, so you need to do this. Okay, and I'm also going to add in another thing, which is this. Okay, and I'm gonna leave this empty right now. The reason is I'm going to show you later why this is necessary. We're going to use a hook that comes with motion. Okay, so for now, let's get to animating certain parts of the website. So the first thing that I'm going to tackle is this part right here. Okay, this is going to slide in from the bottom. Okay, and all these are also going to slide in from the bottom. The difference with this one is going to be that it's not going to be visible and it's just going to slide in from the bottom. So to actually show you this, first I'm just going to animate all of these so that you have an understanding of what I mean. And it's the same animation for all of these. So I'm just going to animate one of these and just copy paste the rest in. So to animate a div or even a h1, any tags, just type in motion, then dot, and then you make that into like a motion tag. Okay, and then in this you can just add in initial. Okay, and then you need animate. Okay, so initial is basically the starting point of the animation, and animate is what it will animate to from the initial point. So to just give you an example, let's say opacity is going to be 0 by default. Basically it's going to be invisible, and then I am going to make this 1. Okay, so I'm just going to save this, and if I refresh this, you'll see this faded in. So let's add more animations to this. So I am going to add in, let's say, translate y is going to be 50. Okay, by default, and we are going to make it 0. Okay, and now let's see what I get. Now you can see it came from the bottom, but just in case you didn't see that, and to make the animation smoother as well, let's add a delay of, let's say, 0.2 seconds. And also, actually, you know what, let's add a delay of 1 second, and then let's do duration, and it's going to be 1 second. Okay, which is the default, I think, by the way, the duration, but just so we can control this later on if we want to. So let's refresh this. As you can see, it was smoother, but it's still taking a good amount of time. So this is not the default one. Okay, so I'm gonna do 0.5. I think that's better. Yeah, I liked that. Make it even smoother. Let's do 4. Just in case you are wondering, you can animate this more. Like, for example, let's say I wanted it to have like a bounce type effect, right? So what you can do for something like that is goes to, let's say, -20 and then goes to 0. The reason that it's disappearing is because this has a overflow hidden. Let me just remove that for you. Just remove that, and let's refresh this. I need to add the 50 here as well so that it knows where to start from. yeah, you can see there's like a small bounce effect. I'm gonna make this 10. Okay, I like that, but I don't want it for this. Okay, so I'm gonna put back the overflow hidden. By the way, this is all Tailwind CSS, just in case you didn't know that. Let's save this, and I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, and I'm just gonna change some of this here. Just want this to slide in. 0, 5, this. And now I'm just gonna turn all of these into motion tags. Okay, and just add this here. I'm gonna have to manually add these. Let's save this. And I'm gonna change the delays a little bit. 0.4 and 0.6. So let's save this and let's see what we get. I like that transition better. Okay, so we've animated this side. Let's see that animation again. Okay, so this is the animation. This slides in from the bottom and all of these fade in and bounce in. Okay, so now is this part. Okay, so let's animate this, and this animation is going to be cool. So just to explain what I have added here. Okay, I've added a div with relative, and I've used absolute, top 50% and left 50%. Okay, because of that, the corner is now centering this here. The way to center this 100% in the center is to use translate X and translate Y with negative 50%. Okay, but what we are going to do is give that to the animation as the initial starting point of the animation. So first convert this into a motion tag. Okay, so next what we're going to do is do initial and then animate. Okay, so now the initial starting point. First, I'm going to add a opacity to give it that smooth fade in animation. Okay, next what you're going to do is give it the initial starting point for translate. So okay, so translate X and translate Y. So first, what we're going to do is make sure that this is in the center. So we do that by negative 50%, and it is the same for this. Okay, and just to show you, as you can see, it is in the center, and this is the second div. So we are basically just going to take all of this and put that here. Okay. As you can see, it is in the center. Now, what we need to do is use animate. Okay, but this is also going to have a translate as well. So let's add that. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and paste this in. Okay, but it is not going to be negative 50%. Okay, what we're going to do is make the X, which is left to right. Okay, we're going to make this 45. Actually, no, this is for the div on the back. So we're going to make this 45, and the Y, which is top to bottom. Okay, so we're going to make this 55. Okay, and this is basically going to be the reverse. So 5 and 45. So let's see this. Okay, No, I need to put this at 45. This needs to be 55. 45. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Okay. So now we have this, but we need to add a delay as well. So I'm just gonna actually copy this. Okay, and this is going to have a delay of 1 second, and the duration is going to be 0.8 for this as well. And I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Just save this, and let's refresh this. As you can see, we have a beautiful animation happening here. Okay, so we have added our animation. So I hope you liked this tutorial. Like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.